Your premier Ford dealership is located here in Cabarrus County, where more than 70 years in the business lends to an incredible experience for every customer, every time. Whether you're looking for the toughness of an F-150, the spirit of a Bronco, or the versatility of an Explorer, you'll find it all at Hilbish Ford, your truck destination. Come experience the Hilbish difference in Kannapolis, just a 10-minute drive from Charlotte Motor Speedway, or get started online at hilbishford.com.
Cousin Chris, what are you into today?
Enjoying this good weather. Dr. Dave's finally back in action after breaking his foot, and feels like you dialed up some good weather today, man.
I did. It's been very pleasant the last couple of days, and it's just more spring-like now, and I think it's 81 presently outside, and the weekend's going to bring some 60s to near 70. So hopefully we have spring for a good couple of weeks now. Pollen is in full force, if you didn't know.
No doubt about that.
We sure did miss you last week.
I miss being here, but I'd rather have been here.
Well, I'm sure.
Wow. Yeah, you mentioned the pollen. Woo. Truck is yellow.
It is, isn't it? It is.
Old yellow.
But,
Old yellow, there you go.
But a couple more weeks and we'll be lightening up on the pollen season.
And I do believe I looked at the 15-day forecast, and I think the days of 20s and 30s are behind us. Maybe a little bit of a 38,
away.
39, but I think we're getting
Pushing
better.
away. Yep.
Let's hope.
Yes, sir.
Good deal.
And next week, what's April 1st already? So
It is.
There we go.
Sure
We're
is.
moving along.
Well, Ryan, we got a pretty good episode coming up, number 64 here at K-Town Connection. Moving on. Tell us about who we're going to talk to today.
Yeah, we have someone who's kind of become a local internet sensation for the area for food advice and food reviews and restaurant reviews and all the above. He's a realtor around town, and his name is Matt Tucker. He's with Remax Realty. And just very proud to have him in the studio today to talk about all the stuff that he does on a regular basis and all the cool places he goes to see and eat and what he does with all that food he's eating. You know,
It's a good question.
All right, Matt, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So I guess tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, and your kind of the reason for you being so involved in the community from a food standpoint and caring about our area.
Yeah, I grew up in the area. Was just telling Chuck I grew up off Odell School Road and lived there really until I went to college. My whole family is from this area on both sides. And so I've always been in the area. Have actually always been in real estate since I graduated college for the most part. My father was in real estate. My grandmother was in real estate, again, all in the area. And was in real estate for a few years when I graduated college, and then felt that the Lord was calling me into pastoral ministry. So actually we moved to Weaverville, which is where my wife is from, and I was a pastor down there for a year and a half and wasn't in real estate. And about a year ago, found myself out of job in pastoral ministry and couldn't find a job. And eventually sort of winded up back here in real estate, right? We didn't really know a lot of people in Weaverville, so we ended up back here and was just at a point where I was like really, really desperate because we've got 3 kids. Obviously, my wife, we have a family of 5, need to do something to feed them, and getting back into real estate, I'd sort of lost the old connections and clients. And as you sort of sit around being self-employed and don't have much to do, you start to think about really crazy things that you could do to hopefully get more business. And you get to the point where you're so desperate, you're like, you know what? I know what'll sell houses. It'll be eating food on camera. And so it's one of those things where I've told several people at this point, it's one of those things where if it works, you look really smart. If it doesn't work, you look really stupid. And sometimes, you know, whether or not it works out or not, I don't even think has a whole lot to do with you. It's just, you know, timing and God's grace. And so some things started working out for me this last December as far as getting a lot of views on Facebook. But that's really how all the food reviews and whatnot, you know, started as a way to promote real estate. But I do enjoy them. They're much more fun than real estate themselves, which is why I did them, because I'm like, you know, nobody wants to watch a market update.
Right.
Nobody wants to watch, you know, me talking about how great the market is or what the interest rates are. for some reason, maybe somebody will want to watch me eating on camera. I don't know. So,
Well, it's going really well. Before we get into the food review, though, you mentioned you grew up locally out there, Odell School Road. Did you go to Northwest?
so yeah, my grandfather went to Odell.
Wow.
For all the way up through high school, because that's how that was back then. And then my dad went Northwest. I was at Northwest when they built Cox Mill,
Okay.
so that pulled me over to Cox Mill, and I was playing varsity center my sophomore year at Cox Mill because we didn't have seniors at the same weight that I am now, and so that was a really good time.
Cox Mill.
Yeah.
Coach Neuendorf.
Yep, that's right.
Good friend of mine. Good dude. Good
So
dude.
what's your dad's name?
Glenn Tucker.
Glenn,
Yeah, he's
okay.
done real estate
Yeah.
and grew up in the area, played football at Northwest. So.
Got you.
How about that? Good deal. Good deal. Well,
I don't believe I've ever met a center before.
guy that snaps the ball.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the
I did
worst
say
job.
center.
It's the worst job. Nobody cares unless you mess up.
But on the flip side, you have the ball every play. You can
That's
say
right.
you put your hands on the ball
That's
every
right.
play.
He touches the ball.
Well, you kind of mentioned it, the real estate into food reviews. I had a chance today, and, when Ryan told me we had an opportunity to talk to you, I was like, holy cow. So I did a crash course and watched just about all of your reviews. I love it. I love the charisma that you show, the fun, you're fun, informative, all the above. But just tell us, you said it kind of got started, needing some attention, with your real estate, looking for things to do. I get it. I'm out there in sales, selling and working with high school football. So, I always have to find ways to be relevant. But just tell us, how the food idea got started and the reception so far from your fans.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, like I said, I was sort of desperate for any sort of publicity, and I just knew that I had done real estate videos before, and I'd gotten to the point where, so before I went into ministry and we moved to Weaverville, I had made the decision to basically I set up a small studio. I did real estate sort of type videos, market updates, and it was very hard for me to get traction. But when you think about with the food reviews, I needed a particularly local audience. And so the idea initially was, maybe this is a more local audience than if I just was talking about the market, like on YouTube, I might get audience from all over the US. Maybe it would be actually a lot of the initial idea was maybe people would be Googling it if they moved to the area, like best places to eat, which haven't got any business that way. So a lot of my ideas about why I was doing it was sort of to attract people that were coming into the area, which has not really particularly happened. I feel like the audience is definitely more just people that are established and local in the area. And really I started out doing longer videos, and they got shorter and shorter just because of how people's attention spans are over time. And it was really sort of when we got down to the first videos were very staged. I thought out what I was going to do before I did it, and they weren't very critical. But as time went on, I sort of realized people wanted shorter videos. They wanted minute-long videos. They wanted 30-second videos. They didn't want it to be staged. They wanted somebody that was going to be honest. A lot of people really appreciate honesty. And so those things about December catapulted it after I had a Haps video in Salisbury. And mostly my videos get a lot of traction on Facebook. Occasionally they'll get traction on TikTok, occasionally on YouTube. But the Haps video blew up and got 500,000 views. Wow. And then after that, it was everything I was posting for a little bit was probably 100,000 views, 200,000 views, 300,000 views. It just didn't really matter what I was doing. And that slowed down a little bit. It's also, some of it is because it's hard for me to post every day. It's hard for me to eat that much and buy that much food. But that is sort of where it got started. It was started in July, but kind of blew up in December. And then it's, as things have progressed now, it's gotten it is a little strange because you don't realize that you're somewhat of a public figure in some way. It doesn't really occur to you. So you go out in public. It doesn't really occur to you until you're in the grocery store and you look at somebody and they're staring at you. And I'm 90% sure I know what they're thinking. They're thinking this is a guy that does the food reviews, but they don't want to say anything. And so they just keep staring and looking. So sometimes people will come up to me and have a conversation. My dad told me, when I get asked for a selfie, that's, when I'll know I made the big time. And so I got asked for 2 selfies in the last month. And that was really strange because it's like if you ever seen Talladega Nights when he says, "I don't know what to do with my hands." That's basically the boat. That's basically the boat that I was in. The first one, I didn't know what to do. So I just stood there with my arms down in a very serious face. And the second one, I really didn't know what to do. So I thought it would be appropriate to hold up a number one. And then I thought that was a really weird thing to do. So we're just still trying to figure it out. But, and I make a little bit of money off of it. I'm trying to figure out how to monetize it, but Facebook pays me a little bit as well, which offsets a lot of the food.
All right, Matt. Hey, speaking of the videos and the comments, and I've read through the comments of the last few videos, and there's just a lot of different comments. People. But one of the things that I saw, somebody said, you must have an endless amount of money. So how do you afford to get all this food at these different places that you're doing the reviews for? Yeah,
at first it was just I knew I had to spend money for advertising, so. If you think about it, if I spend $500 to $1,000 a month, I'm probably going to spend that somewhere else anyway. So that was like an all-in advertising strategy for me. And then as time went on, again in December when things blew up, I hit certain threshold on Facebook for monetization because I consistently just get a decent amount of views. So Facebook does pay me. Usually, depending on the month, it's like $300 to like $550 a month, and I probably spend $750 on food. So I kind of, by the time you figure out like what I would have spent on the same amount of groceries, I think I kind of break even. I've had some restaurants reach out to offer to pay me. I've allowed 2 of them to pay me, and usually I disclose it somewhere that it's it's an ad, even though I try to still be honest. But I've not had a lot of that. I've had some other people reach out to me as far as like advertising and stuff, but I've not found like a great way to monetize it yet where it's profitable. It just sort of is at a break even point right now.
Well, the main thing is you're having fun doing it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's and you're creating your own brand essentially. My father-in-law has ventured into the restaurant.
I knew this was coming.
Yeah, he's ventured into the restaurant review critique business, most of which is in Florida. So the restaurants around here have been spared of this, but he is way, 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 way tougher than any other reviewer I've ever seen anywhere, and he proudly wears a shirt that my wife made him, voted America's toughest restaurant critic. Because if you get a good rating from him, it's going to be darn good. But I'll show you some of his stuff. But it's hard to find your niche in something like that. But you kind of do it all, and that's what's cool about what you do. You're doing all different kinds of food: breakfast, lunch, American, Mexican. I mean, it crosses all sorts of genres of food, and that's what people like. I think they want to see that variety, and I enjoy watching them. And it's inspired me to go to a couple other places that I wouldn't really think about.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I also like I caught the one where you were at the field house, party house, and he just takes a bite out of the cake, the whole pound cake.
Yeah,
we love
and that's just so original. He's not being Mr. Goody Two Shoes and gets his knife out and cuts him a slice or whatever, which you later see him with a slice. But he just takes that's what everybody wants to do, is just take a big old pound cake and take a bite out of it.
They do have good cake.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works, though. Is like you kind of see somebody eating all the stuff you want to eat, but can't.
Right.
So,
That was so cool.
Speaking of that, you've got to eat all the food you've eaten. You got an incredible physique. I see you there behind there. It looks like you're in the gym quite a bit. How do you keep your fitness through all the eating you do?
Yeah, I don't eat a ton of the food that I buy, so I'll eat a few bites, and after I eat a few bites, a lot of times my family will eat the rest. We don't waste the food, and we have kids that will eat just about anything except for things that are green.
Not my son.
Yeah, not his.
What did he bring home today?
Anything but things that are green.
Yeah, because at Stag and Dough you had lasagna, pizza, burger. Oh my gosh!
I know.
Yeah, very rarely, if ever, do I eat all of anything, and I do on my own. I just don't eat a lot of. I try not to eat a lot of junk food, but I also run usually 40 to 50 miles a week, so that obviously helps as well. So
you're on Chuck's. Well,
before the
Chuck's former deal.
I was. But that is that, and I can understand that. You know, he takes the intake and then he takes care of his body and and everything. And but he just gets such big plates full of everything. He just tries to get the best bang for his buck. And you see him bite into 2 cakes. Like he had barbecue, onion rings, slaw. I don't think he's a big red slaw fan.
No, that's one of the things. There's a few things that I'm like, I don't touch that. I don't mess with it. And red slaw is one of them. So
I guess your main focus is Rowan and Cabarrus counties, obviously. Do you go beyond that any, like Lake Norman area or?
Yeah, I have a little bit. Some of it's just a time thing for me because it kind of is a second job and I don't always have time to go. I've been to not Mooresville. Yeah, like Mooresville, more over that area or way a couple of times. I've been to Charlotte a few times. I've been as far out as like Lexington, but a lot of times I just don't have the time to go out further. So it's not that I wouldn't want to. It's just that with working another job and as much as I post, it's just not feasible. But also to some degree, the audience is here. So that's why I've really stuck in this same area. There's a lot of people running around in Charlotte doing food reviews. So I don't go that way. And this is just kind of the area that I sit in for the most part. So.
And it's amazing how many restaurants that are around here.
Yes.
In this 35-mile radial.
Yeah. And that's, was telling you, if you grew up on Odell School Road, you don't know all the restaurants that are over in Midland or China Grove or Lexington or anything like that. So a lot of people get offended. They assume I'm not local. Of course, there's many nasty comments on Facebook, but they assume that I'm not local. And it's just a matter of, something being 40 or 50 minutes away from you growing up and you never having any reason to go that way. So
I get it.
How many do you try to do a day? Do you try to do one a day or one every 2 or 3 days? Or
as far as the reviews?
Right.
So it just varies on my schedule. Anywhere, there are certain times where I'm doing 5 to 7 a week. And then usually I'm doing 3 to 4 a week in that area. It's one of those things where at first it took me a long time to do, but as time goes on, they take less time. So it's not, if I'm not busy with real estate or other things going on, it's not too difficult for me to put out 5 to 7.
About that. And I love the fact that you are just uniquely local. I mean, like what we try to be here with the K-Town Connection, you've got your grouping of people that follow you and, you're serving the community and it is serving the community. I know it's fun and you're having a lot of fun and you're getting attention for your business, and that's incredible that you came up with that concept. But you are still serving the community, so that's something that I think that should be applauded. Yeah,
I think really when I thought about real estate and business, I think that a lot of people, especially when I see other real estate agents, it's more of like a give me kind of attitude. And I kind of felt with the food reviews, it was a way to sort of provide something of value and really not ask for anything in return. And I think that's something that a lot of businesses kind of miss out on in the community. So it's just something that I can do to provide some entertainment value in the community, I guess.
Do you ever get asked to provide the food sanitation scores of restaurants?
All the time.
I bet.
All the time. It doesn't bother me, but I just a lot of times, especially with the short form factor videos, people don't understand I can't always fit in sanitation score or menu or even prices, or sometimes there's so much going on you forget something because you're wrangling a massive amount of food in your car without trying to spill any, and maybe I've got one of my kids with me, and so it just turns into a whole big thing and you don't put in there what you like to have in there.
Wow.
Right.
I wanted to ask you this because you mentioned that a couple restaurants did ask you to come out. When you go to the place, do you just kind of anonymously go in, order your food, go out and eat it? Do you let them know that you're there to review it? Like, how does that process go? Because I'm sure if you let them know ahead of time you're coming, they'll probably try to cook you the absolute best plate of food and, go above and beyond.
Yeah, most of the time with maybe like 1 or 2 exceptions, they don't know. I go there and they don't know that I'm coming. I don't have somebody go in to pick the food up for me or order takeout or anything, and I go in and I'll order to go. And so I think sometimes they know that it is me when I show up and order. Sometimes they don't know that I'm somebody that does local food reviews. So almost always they see, but they don't know that I'm coming, with like a couple exceptions.
So how do you pick what you want or what you order? Do you have you heard from people saying, "Hey, Stag & Do's got great lasagna. You should go try it," or Whataburger has a great ranch burger. You should go try it. I mean, do you have any preconceived notions about what you're getting, or you just go in and look at the menu and say, hey, give me this?
Yeah, most of the time I'm just looking at the menu and I know what people like to see. So I think about that. If it's a barbecue place, you're going to get barbecue. That's pretty obvious. If it's a burger place, you get a burger. But a lot of times I go and I just ask, what does the audience typically respond well to? Or sometimes I just there's something on the menu that I really want to try that I think is really interesting, because obviously if I'm having fun, then that sort of translates. So it just depends on a number of things, and I try to just base it off of whatever I think ultimately will be the most fun for me and that the audience likes. Typically the audience just likes greasy food. Right. So.
Have you ever had an owner or manager, someone with a restaurant, call you up, contact you after the fact and like criticize you or be upset with you because you gave a review a certain way?
I don't think so.
That's
Good.
great.
That's
That's
I don't
really
think
good.
so. I've obviously left a couple pretty critical reviews, and I've never had anybody get upset. I've had a couple owners that would reach out to me and say, I'm sorry about that, and this is, maybe we know what we did wrong, and this is, we're going to work on it.
That's awesome.
That's good.
And that is awesome.
How it should be.
And a lot of times the owners that do that, it would be at a place that I went to, and it was like maybe the food was really good overall, but it was like this one thing I wasn't a huge fan of it, and you can really tell that they care when they do that. When I did the Faith Road Soda Shop video, that caused a lot of problems. If you
Park Road Soda Shop or Faith Road?
Or not Faith Road Soda Shop, just the Faith Soda Shop in Faith.
I
that
see.
caused a lot of problems, mostly with the community. But also the owners invited me to come back. A lot of people got upset at the first review because I said the food wasn't good. And then they invited me back. The owners invited me back. They were very nice to me, and they said, hey, here's some things we did wrong. And they invited me back out to review some of their food. Again, we're going to fix these things. And I went out a second time and reviewed it and gave it a positive review. And it was like the other half of the people that wanted to hate on the Faith Road Soda Shop then didn't like that review. So pretty much everybody in the town of Faith hated me at that point or got offended in some way.
You will get a ding on that, though.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say is this goes back to what I just said. You're doing a service to the community, and even by your honest appraisal of the food, it made the situation better, and that's really cool.
Well, and a good restaurant owner should want to know what's wrong because, and as you know, you and I've done that before at several other places that, we like, and things go wrong, or people order the wrong type pickles, for example. Yeah. And it changes everything.
They're back, by the way.
I know they're back. And until they hear that feedback, if they're receptive to it, and in your case they were, that shows they care about their business and they care about their community. So, and it's tough being in the restaurant business. I mean, it's a very tough business.
And to serve it consistently all day, every day.
Yeah.
And that is tough. So you spoke of where the lid blew off after Haps. Had you heard of Haps prior to that? What was the great reviews from Haps? What were you, just the hot dog and the hamburger, the cheeseburger? And of course, it's just like an institution around here. And then later I've seen you've been to Brian's, which is a brother used to be in. So, but I'm big fans of both of them, Haps and Brian's.
Yeah, it was just the hamburgers and the hot dogs, and it was one of those things where I was scratching my head. Why did this blow up? Out of all the videos that I've done, I posted this and I didn't expect anything to happen. Why did this one blow up? And I think it was a combination of, it takes a long time, especially in a mobile setup, to figure out lighting. Might sound weird, but the sun causes a lot of problems, and moving light causes a lot of problems. And the food looked really good. The light was perfect. The video link, that was when I was like narrowing down on the perfect video link for me, which is usually 30 to 45 seconds. And on top of that, there was it was a positive review, but there's like a lot of nostalgia and what the inside of the restaurant looks like. And then also people went crazy over like just having glass soda bottles on the tray. I think a lot of people that grew up in the area, I got a lot of comments on Facebook and YouTube. It blew up on YouTube too. That were really just not just nostalgic over Haps, but specifically nostalgic over bottled Cheerwine and bottled Sundrop, and maybe they don't live in the South anymore, and they saw that on like a YouTube short, and it just clicked something in their brain that they were nostalgic for in the past, growing up. So,
well, there's so many good things going on. Haps is history, and they're a little hole in the wall there, and they're known for their 4 or 5 menu items, and they are centrally located right there at the courthouse and all of downtown, and it's just amazing to see the line there all the time for hours every day. People lined up to get a hot dog and a hamburger and a bottle of drink.
Yeah, when I was at Catawba, I wouldn't even attempt to go to Haps because at lunchtime, because there was nowhere to park and I couldn't get it and get back in time for my next class or whatever. So I maybe did it once or twice, and that was it in the whole 4 years I was there. So, but yeah, it's always been an institution, and of course being there at the county seat helps too. It drives a lot of new customers to them every day,
and it's quick and convenient in and out.
So, what is your favorite, not restaurant, but your favorite kind of food? Like, is it a burger? Is it a hot dog? Is it a steak?
Oh, you're not gonna like me. Nobody's gonna like me because it's nobody's favorite food. So I really like healthy food. And so my absolute favorite type of food, honestly, is usually like something vegan.
Really?
I was completely vegan for like several years. It was when I started running, and I lost a ton of weight.
Now we know why he looks the way he looks.
And so that's when it's my birthday and my wife says, "What do you want?" Okay, I'm gonna sound completely crazy. Peanut butter tofu, kale, coconut gravy, and cornbread.
No way.
Yeah, so I don't eat vegan, obviously. And that was when a lot of the first comments when I started doing the food reviews were from people that knew me previously, how I was eating before, and like half the comments were like from friends on Facebook being like, "Dude, what are you doing? You're eating meat in all these videos."
He fell off the wagon.
No doubt.
So I think the only thing, well, I don't even know what peanut butter tofu is.
I don't even want to know.
I think the only thing on there I could eat is the cornbread.
Yeah. Today, by the way, is National Spinach Day. I heard it on the radio this morning.
Wow,
man.
And we're in Odell. Can you get peanut butter?
Nowhere.
Tofu?
But when you live in Weaverville, which is right outside of Asheville, there are like 100. That's half of what there is to eat is those kinds of places. So
there it is.
That's where you were corrupted.
No, I'm not against meat or anything like that. It's just I was really overweight, and I was like, how am I going to fix this? The only thing I could think of was I'm going to sign up for a marathon. And after I signed up for the marathon, I thought, oh crap. Now I got to figure out how to lose weight.
Yeah.
And that was my solution. If I could just cut out anything processed, anything fatty, anything dairy, and that was the solution. I'll just go. And so I got really used to eating that way.
How about that?
Wow.
Good for you.
Amazing.
All right. You mentioned Weaverville. This is the last thing I want to ask you, though. You mentioned you went away. You lived in the Asheville area, Weaverville. Then you came back, so I'm sure you have memories of what Kannapolis was, prior, the mill still open and things like that. You come back, you relocate, you bring your family back. What do you feel about the community here now since you came back?
Yeah, we didn't. So I was here up until, we really weren't gone that long. We were only gone like a year and a half, 2 years. Okay. We moved down there to accept a job, and it just happened to be where my wife grew up. And so we were pretty much from the time I was born to the time that we moved away, and like when I was like 27, and then we were gone for a couple years. I was in Kannapolis before then, and then we came back. I was went to college in Wilmington, but the rest of my life I've been here. So we've always, my wife included, she grew up in Weaverville. We've always felt like this was home. There's just a lot of things for me that make it home. I mean, obviously my whole family being here on both sides, where my grandmother's family all grew up, was like the Klein family on Ivy Klein Road, where my grandfather grew up on Leonard Street in Kannapolis. Growing up hunting, my grandparents used to live where the Publix is in Concord. And so I grew up hunting, and especially have a lot of memories dove hunting there, like opening day dove hunting, and even sort of where the apartments are behind the food line over there, we'd hunt back there too. And so because of all of that, obviously a lot of things have changed. Things are very different. But that for me makes it home. And there's a lot of things that we do here that we love. You guys got a lot of NASCAR stuff, and I'm a huge NASCAR fan. So try to go to a lot of races and stuff with my boys, indoctrinating indoctrinating them as they grow up. My oldest son went to his first race last year. So, and there really is. I mean, it's grown so much that it is. When we lived in Weaverville, that was more rural than here. Like anything that we need 10 minutes away, it's grown up so much. It's just tons of restaurants. Like we live off Church Street. We're close to everything. We love it.
Outstanding.
That
is great.
It's just really cool to get to talk to you, and I've been watching you for months and months with videos, and I just thought, man, this is going to be awesome. And I saw you just did the new restaurant at the old McCabe's building, which is now the KP Breakfast Barn, or I don't know if they go by Kannapolis Breakfast Barn, or is it just KP Breakfast Barn?
I think all their branding's KP Breakfast Barn. I haven't seen anything with Kannapolis on it.
So they're just using KP as the Kannapolis.
Have you been there yet?
I have not.
I hope it works. I really do.
I do, and it kudos to them. They're the first people to actually take down the McCabe sign.
No doubt.
After all these years. I mean, there's been probably 5 to 8 restaurants
Since
in there
McCabe's.
since McCabe's, and they've all left the McCabe sign up. Thankfully, these people changed the sign. So
They mean business.
They mean business, yeah.
All right.
And it looks good. So, Matt, thank you so much for coming today. Do you have any parting advice for anybody out there in the food scene where they should go? Where do you know in advance where you're going to go, like tomorrow, for example, or do you just run up on a place and as you're out driving and decide, hey, I'm going to stop there?
Yeah, usually when I'm busy, like which has been the case lately, it's just what am I close to?
Right.
So I know the places that will do well, and if I'm near, I try to get to one of them. But generally, it's just what am I close to today, or what can I make it to today?
Do people send you suggestions of where to go?
Yeah, I get a lot of suggestions. So I've got usually like a list on my phone of places to go, and a lot of the best places to go. The videos that are going to do well, they're going to be just the places that people remember growing up, because they want to. I think more than anything, a lot of people already know how they feel, but they sort of want to see it on video. It's cool for them to see the food on camera, and a lot of times you're getting, like I said, people from out of town that they've seen a place that they grew up eating at or something like that. Well, there's a nostalgia factor. Maybe the food's not the best, but there's a nostalgia factor.
Right.
So those are the places that typically I try to make sure I get to more than any other place. Yeah.
Outstanding.
That's awesome.
Outstanding. Well, I think that's going to about put a bow on number 64 here, the K-Town Connection. Matt Tucker, thank you for spending some time with us. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Honored to have you.
Do you play any pickleball?
No.
Oh man, pickleball is the thing to do. Anybody that's within the sound of our voice here in K-Town, go over there to Carolina Pickleball Club over there at Chipola Street. We love playing pickleball. That's kind of our thing here. But Dr. Dave, anything?
No, hope I'm on the road to recovery
Feel better.
next week.
Yeah, feel better.
Thank you, Matt. I've enjoyed it, and I enjoy following you on Facebook. And give us where you're at on YouTube, so that the people that are following us can hopefully follow you.
Yeah, on YouTube it's Matt Eats Cabarrus. It's the same on YouTube and TikTok. Just Matt Eats Cabarrus.
Okay.
Sweet.
And then Matt Tucker.
Or actually,
on
Matt
Facebook.
Eats 704. I changed it. That's right. I changed it when I started branching out, so it's Matt Eats 704.
On both YouTube and
Yeah,
okay.
Matt Eats 704. Awesome.
And on Facebook it's just Matt Tucker.
that's correct. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
That's incredible. Anything for you?
Nope, I'm good.
Thank you
All right,
very
man. Well,
much.
hey, we
I
got that
enjoyed
red
it.
phone. He's been talking about food. I think we need to call somebody
I
up.
think we do.
That phone only goes to the Whataburger, by the way.
In Midway.
Yeah, that's our jam. But anyway, for Dr. Dave, Chuck Irvin, glad to have you back. Rough Talk
sir.
cousin Ryan Dayvault and Matt Tucker, thanks for joining us here. Exit
Exit 63.
episode 64 of the K-Town Connection. Appreciate you. 3 for down, guys.
3 for
All
down.
right. Ooh.
Thought you were done throwing the bell.
No chance. The Carolina Pickleball Club is a premier organization dedicated to providing a welcoming and competitive environment for pickleball players in Kannapolis. They are passionate about promoting the sport among seasoned players and beginners alike, offering skill-based competitions that challenge and inspire. Go visit our friends at the Carolina Pickleball Club, 724 Chipola Street in Kannapolis, and tell them the Rough Talk cousins at the K-Town Connection sent you.